I think in terms of me and my whole life as an artist, I've been making art since I was a little kid. I've been taking myself, fairly seriously as an artist most of my life. And I've worked with a lot of different materials over time. I've done a lot of weaving and tapestry weaving and painting. I did metal smithing for years, setting stones and working with metal and cutting shapes out. And all of that, it all seems to pull together into mosaic for me, and that's been really appealing. It isn't why I started, but having done it, I realized that all those skills have been brought to bear in this one thing. My first mosaic work, my first real mosaic work, was just with Smalti. I started working with those and really liked them. They're kind of their own discipline. Smalti is a really traditional Byzantine material, very brightly colored glass. They look like bricks. Smalti are imported from Italy, and so they're pretty expensive. So I did several pieces out of Smalti, and then I needed to do more work just to do more work and just develop my skill, but the Smalti were just so expensive. So I went to the lumberyard and got a bunch of bags of just rocks, just small rocks, and started making paving stones just using these rocks. And I just used only the natural rocks. So that was the complete opposite of what I had done before. And that was hugely good training, and I really loved working with the rocks. I've always loved rocks. I always pick up rocks. I'm very attracted to them. So it was really satisfying working with them, but there's also a lot of limitation with just rocks. I love the shapes of the heron, and I'm really attracted to water, so I feel a great affinity for a water bird, like a wading water bird like that. I've always been fascinated. I love patterns. I always, from the time I was a kid, I would work out patterns on graph paper. I've just always been fascinated with that kind of pattern, like an alternating color pattern. So it seemed like a real natural to do it. And once you it's a challenge to figure them out. I love to just figure out a complex interlocking pattern and then be able to make it. It's just so satisfying to me. And it's a match for mosaic. They always looked like mosaics to me, and then in particular the way he contrasts very realistic or naturalistic portraiture against these very patterny backgrounds, very abstract in a lot of ways backgrounds, and that contrast always really interested me and still does, and that contrast I think I work with a lot in my mosaic work now. It's all about contrast. It just seems like it is the thing, and I only wish I had known 20 years ago that it was going to be the thing for me. But better late than never.